Wishing for your happiness upon the blue sky is a cornerstone in Project Sekai mixed events because the writers successfully gathered the gayest characters in the game and made them get married to each other. If you're here, you probably know how Project Sekai works, like the sekais and the groups and the characters. So welcome to this event analysis video, and it's not just any ordinary event, it's a mixed unit event, so we won't just have Vivid Bad Squad characters. The main characters to keep an eye on today are Shiraishi Ann, Hinamori Shizuku, Asusawa Kohane, and Momoi Airi. So Vivid Bad Squad and Murmur Jump. While the event I'm covering is mixed, this is an analysis of Shiraishi Ann first and foremost, so it's going to be focusing on her. Like my last video, I'm focusing more on analysis and explanation, so I do want to say I'm going to be talking about spoilers for the following events: Wishing for Your Happiness Upon the Blue Sky, obviously, The Vivid Old Tale, Whip the Wimp Girl, and Vivid Bad Squad's main story, as well as card stories and area conversations. We're locking in today. So, I think that this random mixed event that happened closer to the game's launch is one of, if not Ann's best focus event in the entire game. Which, for being a mixed event, which are usually throwaway slice of life stories, that's kind of random, right? Well, you see, I am a certified Ann Shiraishi fan, and this event, wedding event, shines the brightest with the power of hindsight. Somehow, this is the event that plants the seeds for Ann's entire character across the next 3 years. I know that's a very loud claim, especially when Ann's entire discography of events is actually really good at moving her along in her development. So, what makes this good? Well, I think we should cover what actually happens in the event first. We start off with Ann in her natural habitat, Vivid Street, the town of familial bonds, rap battles, and stray cats, because Ann is freaking out that her favorite stray cat, Vivi, could get hit by a truck. Vivi the cat isn't like other cats. She can understand music, apparently, and Ann loves her very much. I don't understand why she doesn't just adopt this cat, but, whatever. Keep this in mind because Vivi the cat and literal trucks become a big player later in the story, for some reason. After this brief interaction, Ann goes back to Weekend Garage, her father's cafe, with Kohane and sees that this random lady is having a mental breakdown at the bar. Ken is trying to comfort her, but since he isn't pulling out any alcohol, things aren't going very well. So, since Ann knows the entire population of this town personally, she immediately knows the woman who is flooding the cafe with her tears is named Kawasaki. She's a photographer. But why is she crying? So it turns out that Kawasaki was entering a photography contest, which had the theme of happiness. But, her two models dropped out on her last minute. This isn't good. Kawasaki plans to do a wedding photo shoot because she's like, well, that's the happiest days of people's lives. And it brings people together. Ann is like, wow, that is so true. Good luck with that, Kawasaki. Kawasaki goes on to describe what she has in mind for the perfect bride in her photo shoot. Someone photogenic, beautiful, graceful. Someone who has aura. Someone who has an undeniable spark and spirit. And again, Ann is like, wow, that sucks, man. Meanwhile, Kohane starts foaming at the mouth. Kohane is like, hey, Kawasaki, I think we just found you a new model.
Huh? You're hired! You're hired! You start Monday!
Ann doesn't understand why they're looking at her, and she's like, me? A bride? She claims that she hasn't worn a dress since, never. 2 seconds later, Kawasaki is on her hands and knees, and Ann over here is super apprehensive. Which is weird, because Shiraishi Ann isn't the type of person to doubt herself or feel self-conscious. And that's just at the thought of wearing a dress. Well, also, she's never modeled in her life, and she doesn't exactly think she possesses the grace Kawasaki and Kohane are talking about. Ann quickly agrees to model for Kawasaki because that's the kind of person she is. Ann will step up to the plate if it's to help someone else, no matter what. That's just who she is. Also, Kohane gets strung into this too, and she'll get to be An's bridesmaid for the photo shoot. An is kind of tweaking out here. She's actually so confused why they think she's fit to be the bride. Her whole life, she's always been seen as like a little tomboyish and as cool, guys. An thinks she's so cool, or rather that's how she portrays herself so she can appear as more laid back, confident, the perfect person to give you a shoulder to lean on or cry on. She's really stressing out about this, and it's so unlike herself, which honestly might be stressing her out more. She feels absurdly embarrassed about being a bride, like, she thinks about her past experiences seeing brides on Vivid Street. They just appeared so calm and mature, collected.
私ってそんなタイプじゃないじゃん?
Everyone hypes her up a lot. You'd think that they want to marry her at this point. Point is, they give her the confidence to go on with the photo shoot. She's like about to cook. Fast forward to the wedding day, aka the photography, the day of the photo shoot. An, Kohane, and Kawasaki are at the chapel. Bells are ringing. They're waiting for the group to pull up, and when a car comes to drop the model off, it's Hinomura Shizuku with Momoya Airi from hit idol group More Jump? So, the groom doesn't show up, but lucky for them, Kawasaki is an ally, and she deadass says that gender has nothing to do with it, which is actually kind of cool, because that is the first mention of, like, actual gay people in Project Sekai, because what's happier than gay marriage? So Shizuku will be the groom, but wait, An is wondering why she's the bride. Shizuku's an actual model, and when An thinks about the maturity, aura, and beauty that embodies a bride, she knows it can't be her, especially when Hinomori freaking Shizuku is here. Anyways, An puts the wedding dress on, and she's low-key getting excited. This is a new experience!
すっごく綺麗だよ、あんちゃん。可愛いし、綺麗だし、とっても綺麗だよ。
Wow, guys, isn't she so beautiful? I mean, take it from that thing. So, that doesn't last very long, the excitement, because An, like I said, she's never worn a dress in her life, according to her, and that causes her to trip and die, and land in Shizuku's arms. Okay, girls, pack it up. Kohane notices that since An has put the dress on, she's been acting a little different. A little fishy, one could say. She quickly puts it together that it's because An is attracted to Shizuku. Because listen, Shiraishi An has a type. But we'll get into that in a later section. Commence with the photo shoot. Guys, things are going great. If you're wondering what's going through An's head this entire time, it's pretty much, wow, Shizuku is so mature, so pretty, so tall. Guys, she's so tall and mature. Pictures are great. We got these beautiful, radiant smiles. Also, An keeps hallucinating a cat meowing. There's some subtle foreshadowing for you. Anyways, things are finally going right for An. For all the freaking out she did, she's really doing great. She's gotten the hang of this whole bride thing. Here's the problem, guys. An locks in a little too hard. She locks in so hard, she becomes completely unrecognizable. And it's not subtle at all. Everyone is like, who are you and what did you do to An? Pretty much, An got so caught up in the idea of becoming the perfect bride that she, kind of forgot she's not cosplaying as a bride. She's still herself, you know? Kawasaki didn't cast a random lady. She casted An for this role. Kawasaki kind of pulls on An and Shizuku's side and tells them to have a little chit-chat to bring An back into, like, her actual personality. An talks about Rad Weekend because it's her special interest, and it's pretty much what she's striving to reach. She's just been doing that her whole life. Shizuku notices how much more animated An becomes when she's talking about the event and her music. And so when she's yapping about her music, Kawasaki pulls out the camera again because this is the bride she wants. And An reverts back to her mature, perfect bride on instinct. The moment the camera comes onto her again, An just stiffens like a wound-up doll. She talks more about Red Weekend, but it's like not working anymore. So everyone takes a break because On looks like a wood plank and we're going for wedding day, not funeral. On starts beating herself up as she usually does when things don't go good for her. Eep! So, everybody's trying to like bring her back to life, like her normal self, but it's not working. But then comes the best part, and the part that I'm gonna go really deep into later. On crashes out a bit in private, and Shizuku checks up on her. Shizuku pretty much outs On as being a method actor or something like that. Shizuku tells On that Kawasaki chose her as the bride, not the mature girl she's pretending to be. The reason Shiraishi On is an unforgettable name in people's minds is because of her unyielding spirit and how she's unapologetically and unabashedly herself. Shizuku, in one of the best moments of Vivid Bad History, tells On that she can't become something she's not. She needs to be herself. That is how she'll grow. Guys, I can't explain. Actually, I will explain, but do you see how pivotal that moment is? Yeah. On puts a concept of perfection on a pedestal and subconsciously tries to emulate it. Shizuku opens up about herself, about how she used to be in On's position. On and Shizuku's relationship is so important, and I think the game should let them interact more. Pretty much, even though On had immediately put Shizuku on a pedestal, they are extremely similar to each other. Just one is just a wee little ahead of their development, which ends up being a common thread in On events. I'm just realizing that now. On and Shizuku have this moment, which I think is the real reason for the event's name. These two are quite literally wishing for each other's happiness upon the blue sky.
しずくさんがこれからもはるかたちと一緒にありたい自分でいられるようにあんちゃんが大好きな人たちと一緒に夢を叶えられるように
After that amazing heart-to-heart, the photo shoot is back in business, baby! On and Kohane sing a song together, and the photo shoot, it goes even better! But, turns out On wasn't hallucinating a cat meowing, because Vivi the cat has pulled up at the wedding venue. She is also stuck in a tree, and birds are trying to eat her. That's not good, huh? Apparently, Vivi jumped onto one of the trucks back on Vivid Street and got a sick ride to the wedding. She just needed to support her girls. She needed to support On's marriage. Shout out to Vivi the cat. Oh, yeah, she's being murdered right now. They can't just get a ladder, so On uses her dress as like a parachute, so when Vivi the cat falls from the tree, they can catch her. There's this whole thing of, oh, I don't want to ruin the dress, but On ends up saying screw it, showing how much she's not trying to be the pristine bride in all white anymore. In the process, On goes flying into the bushes, and it hurts real bad, but she does not care because Vivi is okay. The dress is ruined, but Kawasaki doesn't care because this is the most Shiraishi On thing that could have possibly happened. So she takes a picture of On and Vivi, absolutely disheveled, and from that you get the most radiant smile from On, the most candid shot, just like the best picture ever taken. So, really, the main takeaway from this event is On learning to be herself. Like I said before, On is someone who believes she's completely in tune with her emotions. So when she encounters hiccups, she gets stuck in her head and ends up a lot more lost in the process. After rereading the event for this video, I ran to Reddit of all places to see the general consensus about this event, and I actually saw a lot of people saying it was mid and that it was weird to make On get so self-conscious. But buddy, that is what makes this event so great. A lot of On's character arc is about accepting the ugly parts of herself and knowing that it's okay for other people to be privy to the uncool parts of herself. The power of hindsight. So, a Project Sekai event is an event without its cards. And thankfully, since this is a mixed event, I don't have to analyze song lyrics, so let's get into these cards. An's card is called Dressed in Pure White, and her untrained is of her revealing her dress to Kohane, Ari, Shizuku, and Kawasaki. She's dressed as a typical bride here, donning a tiara, and there's also pearls strung in her hair. Very, very princess. Her hair's in a low bun, and her white dress has a bunch of flower designs on it. I noticed that her veil is about the length that her hair is while it's down, but I don't think that's intentional. But, actually everything is intentional when you're overanalyzing cards from an anime gacha rhythm game. She's holding a bouquet of yellow and pink flowers and has a very nervous expression on her face, worried that she won't be the perfect bride. Beautiful chapel window shines a light onto her silhouette, framing her as an angelic figure. Now to the real meat of the sandwich. An's trained card. Wow, that's a lot of roses, huh? This wouldn't be a card analysis if I didn't bring in flower symbolism, so let's go. Red roses symbolize passion, romance, and desire. So obviously, red in of itself is a passionate color, showing An's passion about music, Red Weekend, Vivid Street, and the relationships she holds dear to her. Romance here is a given since the whole event is a literal wedding photo shoot. And the red roses, like I said, they're everywhere here. They're on her billowing dress, her hair, the mirror, everywhere. Along with the red roses, this card also has a buttload of pink roses, which represent gratitude, grace, and admiration. The pink roses aren't on her outfit, but they're also on the mirror and they're on a pot closer to the foreground. This plays into the whole preconceived idea An had about grace and poise in the event story. Notice how the pink roses aren't in her outfit? Yeah, in the story, An holds so much admiration towards Shizuku and looks up to her very much. But before I dive into that, An is wearing, the elephant in the room. She's wearing a bright red dress. As the dress gets closer to the ground, it gets lighter and lighter, which, in the card at least, I assume it becomes white. Wedding dresses tend to be white in Western culture, the color representing purity, new beginnings, and since it's so widely used for weddings, it also represents tradition. To me, the red outweighing the white shows how An's passion outweighs her need for poise, represented by the light ends. The darker reds are closer to her heart, her own form of rebellion, of accepting that she doesn't need to be dainty and a mature bride. This is similar to how An is unafraid to stray away from social constructs. In her school uniform, she wears a tie instead of a bow like every other girl in the game, highlighting her individuality. However, An's hair is missing its signature blue gradient that is so intrinsic to her character design. While her hair is tipped with this lighter pink, it's probably to match her dress. I choose to view it as An's desire to be that perfectly perfect bride still, washing out the bright blue with something duller. As we'll see, even though An learns to be herself in the story, she's a little bit of a hypocrite, and that advice doesn't necessarily stick. We'll see that later when I briefly cover the Whip the Wimp Girl event. Anyways, instead of stars, she has pearls in her hair, similar to her untrained card, and her hair is braided in the back, which I think is a princess braid. Don't hold me on that. So, while An desires to grow into someone mature, her enthusiastic and outspoken personality means more to her. Or rather, that's just who she really is. When she leans into those factors of herself, she's fully able to flourish. I think the most important thing to this card is what An's actually doing. Not gonna lie, at first I thought this was another case of character posing and looking pretty, which, either I'm reaching or I'm a genius. An is looking at herself in the mirror, which makes me really wish this card wasn't from a side angle because she looks so cute in the reflection. Anyways, it doesn't look like she's looking at her reflection in the eyes here, which is really interesting to me. From an artistic standpoint, it's so she's looking at the viewer, but from my analytical standpoint, it's An not coming to terms with herself in a way. She's found herself, but she's not fully sound with herself. Why? Because there's still so much more that An wants to be.
Mommy, a girl behind you.
Shiraishi on and admiration. Where do I start with you? I'm not kidding. Being an admirer is at the crux of On's character, and that's where I think this random wedding event shines. Guys, the power of hindsight. The power of reading random Project Sekai stories. I should probably start contained within the event story I just covered. On's admiration of Shizuku is on full blast. The majority of On's dwellings here are about how Shizuku would be a better fit to play the bride in the photo shoot. Shizuku is, I guess, a micro-celebrity? That will definitely give her points, but the thing about Shizuku, it's the way she carries herself. It's just very reminiscent of an angel descending from the heavens, and On in her core, she just really, really, really wants to be cool. She thinks Shizuku is so cool. I mean, just look at her. But here's the main thing, guys. Shizuku is an older sister. Literally since the launch of this game, On talks big about big sisters. Literally, in Meiko's first ever card story, On and Kohane, who is still in her nerd era, by the way, that's how early this is, they spot some sort of billboard which has Meiko on it. And this is before they even have their Sekai. They've never met Meiko in their lives. And On, instead of being like, oh, look, Meiko, I love the songs people make of her. She's such a cool Vocaloid. She goes, Meiko, imagine having her as a big sister. This girl is so big sister pilled that it's kind of funny and pathetic. On proceeds to rant to Kohane about how badly she wishes she had an older sister because she'd be dependable. And Kohane calls her out. She's like, Anchan, it sounds like you just want to be coddled around, which is spot on and also totally not allowed as long as On is trying to look cool in front of Kohane, because she wants to be dependable. When On talks to Ena, Akito's older sister, in an area conversation, she immediately says that she would love to have a big sister like her. She's not subtle. If you couldn't tell, On might be the most only child to ever only child. On has a problem, and that problem stems from... Come on. It's on the tip of all your tongues. It's Nagi. It's Kotaki Nagi. If you don't know who she is, Nagi is an NPC in the Vivid Bad Squad story. She's actually one of the 3 people in the music group of Radder who put on Rad Weekend in the first place. So she was with Ken and her brother Taiga when they put on the event. She's kind of like really important and beautiful. Anyways, so this woman has known On since she was fresh out the womb because she was born on a musical street and has been in that musical environment. For On, it's only natural for her to become a singer, just like Nagi. So, interestingly enough, On uses the san honorific on Nagi despite their closeness. In the English translation, On calls Nagi Aunt Nagi, but then she uses the uncle honorific for Taiga in Japanese, which is strange because she's closer to Nagi. And to me, this exaggerates a distance between the two. On looks up to Nagi so much and has since forever. People on Vivid Street would joke that with their age gap, Nagi could be On's mom, which low-key offends her. The truth is, On and Nagi are like sisters. Nagi is pretty much her pseudo-big sister, and that's kind of why On is so attached to older sister figures and the idea of having an older sister, because the most important person in the majority of her life was someone she viewed as her big sister. Aw, that's really sweet. Not really. With those abandonment issues Miss Shiraishi has, it's not very sweet. Speaking of abandonment issues, a lot of people, throw around the fact that On has abandonment issues, which is true, but no one really goes into, why? Especially for someone who grew up in a town that was closely woven together because of their music and community values. On could kill a guy and Vivid Street would help her hide the body. She is so incredibly loved. But she ends up doubting that love in the Vivid Old Tale event when she tells her teammates more about Nagi so they could understand what made Rad Weekend so extraordinary. Pretty much in that event, On keeps asking her dad to listen/watch her sing. He says yes and then ghosts her. The event follows a cycle of broken promises before An decides she's sick of Ken's bullshit and she runs away. The only person who's able to find her is Nagi, emphasizing their closeness, or rather, the closeness of sisters. It's not like Ken was able to find An, because they have a different kind of relationship than the one between An and Nagi. Nagi comforts An, who is 7 years old and hysterically crying in a construction site, and it's her words of affirmation that get An to come back home. Budding off this quick discussion of the Vividal tale, An's card for that event is filled to the brim with sunflowers, which represent admiration. Sunflowers are always facing upwards towards the sky, like the sun, which I think shows how An looks up to Nagi and wishes she could be just like her. Wow, what an analysis. It's these definitive moments that make An dead set on becoming just like Nagi. I think An's idolization of Nagi really warps how she perceives her, thus why she uses a more respectful honorific. But Nagi is not all that. She's not perfect, and she is by no means mature. There's a side story where she literally steals An's snacks. In An's eyes, Nagi is the epitome of the perfect bride that she had in mind earlier. Someone who she saw as mature, tall, beautiful, dependable, and with that special aura. Nagi's time with An is something that unconsciously influences literally everything she does, from her copying Nagi's mannerisms, speech patterns, and constantly finding herself stuck in a pattern of chasing someone who she's not. The wedding photo shoot happens ages before any of this is revealed to the audience. Same with the area conversation of An and Kohane. An could have been totally normal during that shoot, but since she spent the time since Nagi left to America trying to emulate her, Nagi allegedly booked it to America after Red Weekend, and she didn't think about it An, but you see how An kind of has this messed up mentality of trying to be someone she's not. So, yeah. Nagi represents the perfect bride, in An's eyes at least. Earlier in the story, when An first becomes singing partners with Kohane, her instant infatuation of her and the whole concept of having a partner is on full blast. We saw in the Singing in Sync event, An's first ever focus, how she sort of infantilized Kohane to uplift herself. Even though she loves Kohane so much, she viewed Kohane as weak and believed that it was her duty to protect her because of that. She builds a power imbalance between them, and I'm gonna have to hold myself back here because this video is gonna turn into an hour-long one about the importance of An and Kohane's partnership. Video coming soon, by the way. But pretty much, An holds herself as Kohane's protector early on. She wants Kohane to view her the same way she viewed Nagi, how she will view the perfect bride. An wants to be cool. She especially wants to be dependable because she spent so much of her life depending on others, aka Nagi. So, that was a lot. You might have forgotten that this video was about a random mixed event about a train wreck of a wedding.
JoJo! Have you learned nothing?
Wishing for your happiness upon the blue sky is such an important event because it indirectly highlights An's biggest character flaw, as well as setting the scene for future An events. All at once, we also see the traits that irrefutably make her who she is. Specifically, her kindness, because she says yes to the shoot just so she can help Kawasaki out. We get to see her insecurities about not being good enough for the people around her, like how she's perceived. The title of the script is, not only is this event gay, it has substance. So, how does this hold up? I haven't read the other wedding events in the game besides Toya's because I'm stuck in the Vivid Bad trenches, so I don't have much to say for comparison. But, in my opinion, for a Project Sekai event to be good, it should probably influence the future ones, which mixed events usually get the pass on because they aren't marked as key story. However, I think one could argue that wishing for your happiness upon the blue sky 100% does have an importance for An's story moving forward. Let's take An's lesson she learned about individuality and apply it to the rest of her arc. Enter Whip the Wimp Girl. 2 years after An's wedding event, I think the themes are called back in. In Whip the Wimp Girl, An has to confront the ugly side of herself while also sharing the ugly side of the person she wants to look prettiest to, Kohane. She is really worried about telling Kohane about her rapid improvement and how it's sprouting itty bitty bits of jealousy and an overwhelming fear that Kohane might leave her like Nagi did. While she's stressing about this, she thinks to herself, what would Nagi do? And when I read that line, I started raging. I was thinking, hey, we need to call in Shizuku. She and An need to have a nice little tea party together and discuss their feelings, identity, and individuality. Because, holy moly, dude! Obviously, later in the story, An has her whole I'm Shiraishi An moment, which is so important to her. But I was like, damn. Ever since the Vivid Old Tale, I thought her whole coming to terms with herself was going to be about her separating herself from Nagi. But it actually ended up being about An separating herself from, her chains holding her down, and also the chains she indirectly placed on Kohane. But, now she's told Kohane how she feels, so they're both free, which is fine, of course, but so much of An's character has been about emulation. Her whole life she's been living under her father's shadow. Literally, in the main story, all the NPCs refer to her as Ken's daughter, and then she chases Nagi's shadow. Still, there's nothing wrong with An seeking comfort thinking about Nagi in that situation, but An, have you learned nothing? It's kind of like her yearning to be the perfect bride again. I think that makes sense, but she still needs that separation from Nagi to truly find herself and her individuality. Or to find her color. Fuck out my way when you see me. I'm rolling with the LGBT. Okay, so I just yapped for a very long time. If you're still here, thank you. I love An's stories so much, and it's kind of crazy how her entire arc is kind of wrapped into a single event on a mini scale. In conclusion, An and Shizuku should have daily counseling sessions with each other because An still has a lot about herself that she needs to figure out. Hopefully she will, because so much of An's identity is tethered to the people around her, period. Wishing for Your Happiness is one of the best Shiraishi An events because it tackles everything about her, and I love it for that. There's not much I can say here that I haven't already said. I will say that I got 5 more video essay ideas in the process of writing the script for this video, so be on the lookout for that. Also, okay, sorry if the speed paint in the background got a little jinky. Procreate kept crashing and deleting my footage, but I think things turned out okay for the most part. Thank you very, very much if you made it through the video. I really want to keep making video essays for Project Sekai, moreover Vivid Bad Squad, so if you want to see more of that, liking or commenting would be very much appreciated, because also I want to hear your thoughts. Am I digging too deep into this, or am I a genius? That's a joke, by the way. I'm not. I have an IQ of 2. Okay. My final words for you today is that Project Sekai mixed events are great, and are even greater if they focus on Shiraishi An.